Well, it's so nice to chat with you, Mike, albeit apart but together. I think that's the whole point of Cancer Day, isn't it? Coming together wherever we are in the world.
That's it, Deborah. It's about bringing all of us together. We've all got that thing in common, which we wish we didn't have, but it's brought us all together. It's called cancer, and it's led us to this moment in time, World Cancer Day. We're all going to make the best of what we've got today.
Absolutely. We're all part of the club that we didn't really want to be part of, but one and two of us will be part of it. And ultimately, actually, it's what brought us together. So, well, for those of you that don't know, when were you diagnosed with cancer, Mike?
Yeah, well, I first heard the word cancer introduced in my life in 1995, a long time ago. And I was on the eve of an American tour, and the doctors told me I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, I needed a bone marrow transplant, and they wanted to go for cure. And the one thing that they didn't factor in was that, which I said was, it's all great, but I'm going on tour to America tomorrow. I can't possibly cancel it. So after a lot of arguments, they decided it would be better to keep me in a positive frame of mind, let me do the tour, and then we'll attack the disease when I got back. And that's when I got told, I went to see a faith healer and spoke to her from the airport, and she told me green was a healing colour. So I bought combat fatigues. I went to war on the disease in my mind, and I came back and reversed the whole situation, and I've been alive ever since.
Oh, I love that. I love the story of just the fact that actually you're living with it, and you're still kind of, it's still something you manage and is in your life, isn't it? But you just live with it, isn't it?
That's right. I've lived with it a long time, as yourself, Deborah. You survived your illness long enough to see breakthroughs come through that you dream of, and then they've arrived and they've given you another chance of life. And that's what's happened to me. I've constantly stayed one step ahead of the disease. Luckily for me, I've been with a lot of patients I've had chemotherapy with alongside, and they weren't so lucky and they're not with us anymore. But I've just managed to keep one step ahead. I've got a great NHS medical team, and they've really been amazing keeping me alive.
I call it riding on the wings of science. I was diagnosed 4 years ago with metastatic bowel cancer, and unfortunately we know the statistics around that are pretty dire when it's caught late, and why early diagnosis is so important. And for me, it's exactly like you. The longer I've lived, more options have become available to me, and actually I'm now being kept alive by some drugs that weren't really around when I was first diagnosed. And as a result, I'm kind of living in a future I didn't think I'd see. And then that gives me more hope that something else might exist to carry me, I suppose, on those wings into a time that I never really even dreamed about, actually. And yes, I'm still living with cancer. I'm on daily treatment still. But I think living is the key word, isn't it? Yes, I wish it would go away, but it's that grey area that I suppose we worry about. And actually, it's the hope that it doesn't have to be as black and white as we once thought it maybe had to be. And actually, there is a way forward, and hopefully that inspires others.
Well, that's it. I think that's what you just captured it there, Deborah. What we represent by having our conversations and showing people, we represent the new face of cancer, where people have a fighting chance. Nobody wants to tune into a world cancer blog and video cast, and really mainly it'll be people who've got an interest in cancer or have heard that word applied to their lives. But by doing this and really coming together through World Cancer Day, we can hopefully reach those people who switch off when they hear the word cancer and think that's for older people, that's for others. But it applies to everybody. As you said at the top of the show, 1 in 2 people will get cancer, and we have to give them the message that everyone, if you get there early, if you're not afraid of that lump and you think, oh, I'll put it off till tomorrow, but you go and ask your GP, is this something I need to worry about? And then they apply the word cancer into the calculation. In the back of your mind, having seen everything that's going on, what we're talking about, you've got a fighting chance, and that's all you want. In any situation in life, if you've got a fighting chance to survive, you'll always take it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think people are really scared of the word cancer. I know I am, and people assume it happens to other people until you are that other person. And for me, the theme I am, I will is really relevant, because it's kind of what little things can we all do to make that collective impact on cancer? Because ultimately it's going to affect us all, whether we like it or not, whether we want to close the door on it or not. And I was asked the question the other day, like, what can we do? What can we actually do? And I think my advice would be start at home, because actually, if so many of us are going to be touched by it, how do we know that our nearest and dearest are actually being picked up on first and foremost? Have we spoken to our loved ones, our parents, our brothers and sisters? Are we looking after our friends? So before we kind of think that we have to do these massive grand gestures, actually, if there's one thing that we can do today to, I suppose, in the name of World Cancer Day, it's to remind those closest to us that actually to get themselves checked, because we care about them.
Absolutely, that's a great way to look at it. And my suggestion, I always try to get across to people I know in my community when they're diagnosed. Obviously, I'm some sort of celebrity cancer kind of patient because of where I live and what I do. And a lot of people turn to myself and Jules, a breast cancer survivor and wife, and ask for advice. And I always say to them, just remember how you felt before you heard the word cancer. Probably on the day you were going to see your doctor, you might have taken your dog for a walk, you might have gone running, you might have gone to work and just fitted the medical side around you. And then you hear the word cancer and boom, your life goes right through the floor. And you all of a sudden you stay in bed, you stop running, you think, I've got cancer, I can't live, I have to stay in. Well, that's not always true. And I always try to say, take yourself back to that moment before you heard the word cancer and start your recovery from there, not from the place that cancer sends you to when it's applied to your life.
I totally agree. I think people always say, how can I help a friend with cancer? And there's exactly that advice, is remember who they were before cancer. It doesn't change them. They're still the same person. If they like music in a particular way, if they like then that's what they're still about, right? That doesn't go anywhere just because cancer comes in. And I hear that you have been taking part in a bike ride that I'm going to be taking part in, although you're not allowed to reveal what's happened already.
No, I think the only thing I can reveal is it was obviously going to be, I realised when there was a lot of rugby internationals and athletic stars in it, there was going to be a lot of men and women in Lycra, and Lycra is not me. I'm a bit too rock and roll for Lycra, and it reminds me of spandex and everything bad about bad hair metal. So I rode my bike through the streets of Paris, virtually, of course, chasing down Mo Farah, the Olympian, in my camo jacket and my jeans. Oh. I thought I'd bring a bit of fun to the proceedings, and it was a fantastic day, and everyone will be able to see it on Eurosport at 6 p.m, and it's a fantastic show.
I love that. And I'm going to be joining in with a community ride. I haven't committed yet to my time for kickoff, mainly because I realised it was a little bit longer than I thought. I'm looking forward to the community part of it, where we can virtually do some of the same route that you guys did. And it's all in solidarity. It's called the Solidarity Ride, isn't it? The Solidarity Challenge. And I believe there's about 60,000 people, over 60,000 people worldwide, taking part in about 8 different legs all around the world, kind of riding together. It's the small parts that we play riding together, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be it's brilliant. I think it's what World Cancer Day is doing is because of the pandemic, and it's become a virtual day. I think it's got even more people involved because people are at home and they want to tune in. They need some escapism, and for once in its life, cancer is providing a little bit of escapism in the world, and people are, but I think as well, we've become a little bit of a forgotten community inside the pandemic, because it's all about the virus and COVID-19, and everyone realizes that at this time it's very challenging for cancer patients. It's very challenging for people who maybe suspect they might have cancer, but they're afraid to go to their GP or their hospital. So this is a great way of bringing everyone together, galvanizing the people into action, and reminding everybody that we still have a fighting chance, and we need to get ourselves back in the ring and get the medicine switched on for the patients who need it, get the doctors working on the patients who need the treatments, and find that will to bring cancer back to the forefront of everyone's minds again.
I feel really strongly that it can't be the next crisis. We've already got one crisis, haven't we? And we can't make cancer our next crisis. And I think, we have to remember how many people unfortunately die from it every year. And I think it is that voice. Together we're much stronger, aren't we? And we know that with corona, how when we come together actually we can solve things, and we're going to have to do that, and we are going to be doing that for cancer. And I think it's a reminder that globally together there's hope and there's support as well, isn't there, when we kind of work together on stuff. And you've got something coming up tonight as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we're hosting our own TV show, the Love, Hope, Strength, which is the name of our charity, The Big Night In, which is a TV show that we started on the internet, myself and Jules and all the Alarm community, which spills right into the Love, Hope, Strength charity. So we've got a lot of great musicians on the show. We've got Billy Duffy from The Cult, we've got Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, we've got Billy Idol, Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols. We've got all kinds of great people who've Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters, and they've all donated musical items for the fundraising auction. We've got some footage of some of our treks around the world, me singing in Everest and Kilimanjaro and in Peru and Japan. And so it's going to be a fantastic show, and hopefully it'll bring a lot of people together in the spirit of how World Cancer Day is happening all around the world.
Oh, I love that. How can people tune into it?
They can come to our website, lovehopestrength.co.uk, or you can go to thealarm.com. All the links are there, and it'll be live on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time.
Oh, I love that. And it is like that community together. Well, I can't wait to be tuning in. I can't wait to find out actually how you did in the ride, because you still won't tell. You're not allowed to.
I'm still sweating and my jacket's still wet.
Fun taking part, right?
It was amazing. It was so interesting. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen at first, but it was so well put together, and you felt so connected to the other riders and the environment that I started pedaling. I was the first out of the blocks. I thought, I'm going to keep going and going and going until I have to stop. And of course, it was a fantastic event. So it was a lot of fun, and a lot of sweat went into it from a lot of people.
Oh, well, we'll see it all tonight on Eurosport. And thank you so much for this chat. And I can't wait to actually, see you again in real life rather than...
Absolutely, Deborah. I can't wait. And we'll all meet again soon, and keep moving forward and living the life we have our dreams built around.
Absolutely. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.